Good evening, everybody. Welcome on into TF1eSports. As we are currently hearing myself, I do apologize for that. But welcome on in. It is the pre-season race here in Silverstone for your entertainment tonight before we officially get underway. This is your season ahead. We will begin next week officially with the point scoring round in Spa-Francorchamps, off to Bahrain the week after, followed by Canada with Montreal, the Gilles Villeneuve circuits. Then we'll be back to Silverstone for round 4. Then the halfway mark will be in China, Shanghai International Circuit. Then we off to Lusail after that, with the final few races being in Spielberg, Mexico City, Barcelona, and Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. Let's go straight to your race feed because our preseason is now underway for the first qualifying session for the drivers here. Of course, TF1eSports is the broadcaster tonight. So, first and foremost, we have 12 drivers who will be getting themselves ready for preseason. Of course, we will be back here round 4. So, any drivers that don't necessarily have the best evening tonight, they can have a second bite at the cherry when in a few weeks' time. And there we go. We have got the PAM, who is currently getting us underway, and they will take the first flying lap once they complete their out lap, and they are just heading down the Wellington Straight as of right now, and just kind of observing where the best lines are. So, of course, Silverstone is a track with 18 turns at a length of 5.9 kilometers, which about equates to about 3.6 miles, give or take. The race lap record, according to my notes as of right now, is a 1:27.097, which was done by Max Verstappen in the RB60 back in 2020. Opened in 1948 after supposedly somebody who lived nearby and saw this abandoned RAF airfield said, well, let me just call up 12 of my friends and we'll just go for a drive. Now, whether that story is legitimate or not, I will leave up to your imagination. But that is the one we are going to go with for tonight. And, well, since then, it has seen, nearly 80 years of motor racing as of 2028. Of course, this track has been through a total of 10 changes to the circuit. The old layout used Abbey as a left-hand turn onto the farm straight through the bridge. And then, of course, Woodcote had the start-finish line, which, of course, they now call the national pit straight for the national circuit. But of course, we are on the long Grand Prix circuit tonight, and there we go. We've got the Williams of the PAM on getting us underway for the first flying lap here. Now we go through Aintree now, opening the DRS for the first time on the flying lap. Now he is going to be approaching Brooklands at around, I would say, about 180 miles per hour. Then we'll get it all slowed down for Woodcote. Lovefield, beg your pardon, and then, of course, go back through the gears. Then need to be a bit selective with your throttle there because that gravel is waiting to say hello to your tyres, and then slow your lap right down. We are now down the old start for the straight, and this is Copse Corner. Fast right-hander there and keeps it in 8th gear. Not necessarily the best for the momentum of the car. Now it's Maggots and Beckett's. You go left, then right, and then you want to just set yourself up for the right-hander through here. You go left very briefly, then it's the right-hander, and now you're going through Church Curve, and for the second time this lap, second DRS opening. You are now approaching Stowe. You're going to be up here at around a maximum of 200 miles per hour with the DRS and ERS in assistance for that through Stowe Corner. Nicely done by the PAM, I have to say, as Tirolo has already retired and left the session. I wonder if he's had some technical issues, but we are still looking at the Williams completing his flying lap as he goes through Club Corner onto the start finish straight. That is a 1:26.783. So the PAM lays down the gauntlet, and we'll see how that is a representative. I think it's Pavanier who is next across the line. He is still on a flying lap. From what I saw from the flags, he is the South Korean driver. Kind of the exception to the rule here. Of course, the league mostly filled with Italian drivers. And, it is based in an Italian league. So here we go now. He's going to go through to Club Corner. Pavanier is going to set his first flying lap of the evening. Can he beat the 1:26 just to set down an early gauntlet? That will be, it's not, it doesn't beat it, but he is very close indeed. A.S.D driver of Marito is next, but he is a bit off the pace there. They need to find about 1.8 seconds for his lap to be an improvement, and that's an invalidation for Kai there, and he will start again. I do believe he is on a old set of tyres, he is, so he's going to actually get underway on this lap. So he would have had to have just taken a step back and just say, let's just recharge the battery and cool down the tyres, and then we'll go again for a second flyer, which, as long as he invalidated early enough, he's evidently still going. So, of course, we'll keep an eye on Kai for the time being, but most other drivers around us have indeed gone underway. But we still need to find out what happened to the Red Bull of Tirolo there, and he has already retired and left the session. So I just maybe wonder if he had some internet issues or maybe some technical issues with his equipment. But there's a McLaren there, and that could be an impediment. That's not really the best there from Pinolo in the sole McLaren for tonight. Yeah, no, you can't really do that. You got to really keep out the way, and the Mercedes there, it did kind of mess up the corner as well, so maybe not the full blame left to Pinolo, but he was parked on the racing line. So, well, we'll see if anything happens in the stewards' room afterwards, although I don't think any penalties will carry over from a pre-season race. I do think this is obviously with the fact that these are non-scoring points that the drivers are earning, I don't think anything will happen. But anyway, we are now looking at the Mercedes of Kai go through Stowe. He's going through the last couple of corners now, and we'll see what time he can set. This lap has gone much better for the Mercedes driver. No invalidation, and he's not really... It's going to be very unlikely to get invalidated through here. It's not the most representative. Slowest of the 4 drivers that have set a lap so far, but make that 5 as Gianni has now come across the line into 3rd place. A 1:28.0, so Pavanir and the PAM really setting the pace so far. Tirolo has come back, so it must have been an internet issue. Sadly, the game has also done that as a DNF, so unfortunately for Tirolo, he will start, as of right now, from 12th position, as he has, unfortunately, faced an early disqualification. Let's have a look at the home team here. Steve Ronaldo, however, sets an invalidated time of 1:29.962. He'll be hoping for much better than that as he goes on for his flyer on 1 lap old tyres, so we'll go back to Ninja for the time being, and we'll see what he can do. Of course, no relation to the popular streamer, I should believe. But now through the final corner, and that's a 1:29.0. So that is that is now the slowest of the 6 ahead of him. So we'll see if anybody else could go slower or faster than that time. Ronaldo is certainly getting on to another flying lap after invalidating the last one. So he is certainly on a flyer. There are a few drivers around as well who are also flying. There's a Kick Sauber of Sticky there, or Stee, I'm just going to call it for the time being. I hope he doesn't mind that, or she, and we'll see what happens. But slower through Sector 2 by over a tenth, well, just over a tenth and a half, and they come into the pits there as they need a fresh set of tyres, and the Mercedes behind of Kai doing the same thing. But there's Pinolo, who got in the way of the Mercedes driver not too long ago, going very wide there through Club. And we'll see what the time will be, and that is a 1:30.3, and that is 3.6 seconds off the top time there. So a lot of work for the McLaren to do, but let's go back to Ronaldo and see what he can do. Currently in 10th place, but with no time on the board. That is the same for Scanbro and Guitars there at 7:50, but on an out lap, as Steve Ronaldo won't bother to finish this lap, and it... Well, I wonder if he made a mistake in the lap there, because that was a 1:30 as he came across the pit lane entry, as Tirolo has left the session again, so must be having issues with his internet, as the only one out on track now is Pinolo, but of course Pinolo has just completed a flyer, and Guitars, so Guitars on an outlap, so he'll be going rather slowly, as will the McLaren. Going through Cop's corner now, Guitars here is just looking to set himself up for his flying lap. 9.5 minutes to go, so really needs to get a time on the board sooner rather than later, and then see what the commentators see this. I certainly do see chat. I do keep my eyes on it. And hello to you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoyed the qualifying session so far. We have just got to the halfway point where the PAM is currently unbeaten. And we'll see if that is going to be beaten. Pavanir is currently the one closest to the Williams driver in the Alpine out of all cars. So not a bad job from the Alpine driver there. But now we look at the Red Bull and let's see what they can do. Guitars to the line. And you know what? I thought that was going to be invalidated. He was definitely across the white line there, but the track map hasn't gone red there on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. So that means now this lap will continue to count. Just needs to keep it between the white lines. Let's go on board with the Red Bull driver. Marito and Tavernier have gone out for their outlap, so we'll keep an eye on where they are. In fact, the Alpine is actually just ahead here. He's currently going down the Wellington Straight. And he's just going through the left-hander of Brooklands, and then he'll be at the right-hander of Luffield in a few moments' time. Guitars, of course, won't be setting any deltas, as the delta on the top right-hand side of your screen there only compares to the driver's personal best, not the overall session best. So that is why you're not seeing any plus or minus delta at this part. Now, he's going through Cops there, and that actually looked rather good, but I'm very surprised drivers are keeping it in 8th gear. Usually you'd see some drivers go down into 7th, but they feel it's best to go through 8th. And now through Maggots and Beckets he goes, and that is riding the sausage curbs there. That's not too unusual to see. It's just one of the quirks of the handling model of the game. It just usually allows you to take that, when in real life your car would be honestly pointing in another direction and probably in the barrier. But otherwise, in the game, you get away with that. Through the final few corners now, which we call Club, the Red Bull approaches, riding that sausage curb, trying to take as much of the corner as he possibly can. It's going to be across the line as a 1:28.8, and really that top two have run away, though nobody is touching Zapam and Pavanir. So that is a very good pace set by those two, really being a good... let's see. Right. As the Haas here just goes through Cop's corner, and through Maggots and Beckets, and he's looking okay, and it's, he's gone. I was just kind of about to say my point. I was going to say my point, and then Marito has gone and proven it. It's very easy at that second part, when you go through that left-hander before the right-hander. I think they call that Beckett's 2, and then Beckett's 3. So through Beckett's 2, very easy to invalidate through there and take more of the curb than you think you can. And then all of a sudden you have to go again. But Pavanir, let's go to him through Sector 1. He was 2.5 tenths up. And at the moment, he's now about to approach Sector 2. And at the moment, he's now nearly 4 tenths up. So Pavanir is on course to beat the Pam here for pole position. But it is very provisional. There are still 6 minutes to go. Just over. Caution in Sector 1 for a slow-moving vehicle. And now approaching Club Corner, the Alpine goes left, then goes right. Can he convert the time throughout the rest of the lap? He is now approaching the start-finish line. He can! That's a 1:26.0 for the Alpine. And that is now just over 7 tenths of a second ahead. And the Alpine there now on top. So we are still waiting for the Pam to come out of the pits, as well, just cutting to Gianni there, who was on a flyer but invalidated, having to dramatically get out of the way, even resorting to the grass there. That is very kind of the Racing Bulls driver, as now we are seeing Kai improve up into 6th place after the Red Bull of Gutaz is pipped from 6th position. Still without a time and still invalidating flying laps is Steve Ronaldo, R9. He has trying to come across the line again to have another crack at a fly. He's not having a good qualifying session, although you can say the same for Tirolo, who hasn't had a qualifying session at all. It sounds like he's had internet issues and has left the session altogether, so he will be taking no further part in the evening's proceedings. But very unfortunate for the Red Bull. So a bit more of work outside the game, as we see a McLaren cutting through. What is that corner there? That, I think, is Village. It indeed is. In fact, the McLaren taking every single action possible to avoid impeding the Ferrari. It evidently saw what happened on the commentary, and it has decided to take more drastic maneuver measures there. But anyway, back to Steve Ronaldo. He's just gone through Luffield. Now going through to... No, Brooklands, then to Luffield, beg your pardon. Then this small right-hander here is called Woodcote. And this is, of course, the old start-finish straight for the Formula 1 calendar. And now through Cop's Corner, of course, been seen many a moments through here, especially back in 2021. I'm not going to name any names there. But anyway, the iconic Maggots and Beckett's Corner doesn't do what he did... the Haas driver did there, Marito, and invalidate through Beckett's 2. So, of course, some drivers are potentially aware of that, as now DRS opens for the Ferrari for the final time this lap. And now it's just Stowe corner to go, and then Club. And this is looking a lot better from Ronaldo. And he goes into the pits anyway and sets no time at all. And that, honestly, is very risky. As now a 5th-place grid penalty for Ninja for a collision with Guitars. So now, what does that mean? Does that... if Chirolo is left, so that means he won't need to serve the 5th place. He will just be relegated down to 11th officially. If Chirolo does not come back to try and take control of that car. But either way, Ninja's given a penalty for colliding with Guitars, and that is not what he would have wanted for his qualifying. You are now looking at the Mercedes of... Well, you were looking at the Mercedes of Scanbro, but he has gone and put it into the runoff area at Village. So his flying lap will no longer be considered, but I wonder if he just came off a flying lap. And I wonder if there's very strict rules on impeding here, as we now have a McLaren on medium tyres. That is a call. I mean, it must be saving a set for the race, I would assume, as he has also come to a stop. So I just wonder if the league here has very strict rules on track impediments here, because we've seen a lot of drastic evasive maneuvers. Like, you know, drivers taken to the grass, taken to the runoff area when they don't really need to, you know. The track is wide enough for 2 cars to pass, unlike you're in Monaco. But then again, in Monaco, you don't really have a runoff. And there you go. Gianni also taking that invalidation area we saw the Haas driver take a few minutes ago. And, yeah, no, a lot of drivers trying to move out the way. The Mercedes very late to maneuver. Racing Bulls very clearly said, look, I'm on the right-hand side of the track. The Racing Bulls, well, no, sorry, the Mercedes, trying to get the maximum amount of slipstream, but looked like it was, then became harmful, because it looked like he was losing control of the car there. The rear end had a bit of a tank slapper on the way out there. But anyway, I think, that's not a representative time, because, of course, we saw him go right through here on Park It. But anyway, as he invalidates through there, and that is very rare to see, I must say. That is a rare one, I gotta say, through Farm Curve. And this is already invalidated as well. So Pinolo, before he even started the flying lap, as he goes very wide through Village. Wow, we're certainly seeing something here tonight, that is for sure. As they go, Gianni, let's focus on this. This is absolutely great from Gianni so far. A 10th up in Sector 1. So what can the Red Racing Bulls driver do? At the moment, he is currently in 3rd place, as the Pam is also on a flyer, but Pavanir is also on an outlap, so they will start a flying lap in a few moments' time, I imagine. Just where is he on the track? I'm trying to keep an eye on that. I think he's just going through Club Corner now, if I've got the colours of the dots assigned correctly here. Gianni, currently on the 1 minute mark as he goes through Sector 2, 6/10 up. This could be really great. If he can find something magical through Sector 3, he's in that top 2 battle. But of course, it will depend on Pavanir and the Pam. They are probably going on in mega final laps now with only 20 seconds to go in qualifying. What can be done here? The Alpine and the Williams in an entertaining qualifying fight for pole position. Gianni goes to the line. Gianni even, beg your pardon, goes to the line, takes some grass with him, and he's up to 3rd place there, half a second away from 2nd. But who is further around the track? Is it the Alpine or is it the Williams? It is the Williams there, up by half a second in Sector 2, nearly as Guitars and Pinolo cannot improve. They've taken the checkered flag. The Haas driver will actually be the first across the line here. And we'll see what's going on. 123, 124, through Club Corner he goes. And what can Mauricio do? That is 4th place, nearly a second improvement. So that's a nice final time. As now the Pam, unable to take pole position, 126.1. But what about Pavanir? Through Sector 2, he's down a bit on his time. So we'll cut to the Mercedes of Kai here, and he's up to 5th with a half-second improvement. Not bad stuff at all. And now Ninja will be next. He's having a bit of a moment through Club, and that's nearly 3/10 up. 7th place there for the Racing Bulls. And then behind is Stee with 127.5. He's 5th, and there we go. So we just wait for the Ferrari, but invalidated. So that means he will set no time in qualifying. And Gianni, the only one out on track without the checkered flag, but that is only because he just set his flying lap before the session timer ended. And Pavanir is your pole sitter for the pre-season race. And with the Pam in second, Gianni in third, fourth and fifth are Marito and Stee, with Kai, Ninja, Gators, Scanbro, and Pinolo rounding out your top 10. And the only driver not to set a time is Steve Ronaldo. And then Chirolo, who sadly had issues with his internet, is no longer with us for the evening. So bad luck for Chirolo. And we will hopefully see him again once the season gets back underway. But otherwise, that is qualifying all concluded here for the pre-season race. We will be right back with you in a couple of minutes' time. We are now going to have a bit, well, probably a couple of minutes break before going into the proceedings. It's a half-distance Grand Prix. So here in Silverstone, that is 26 laps. And those will be with you in a few moments' time. Just before we do go to our eventual break, it is, of course, time to confirm your official qualifying results for one last time. From 1st to 5th is Pavanir, The Pam, Gianni, Burrito, and Stee, with 6th to 10th being Kai, Ninja, Guitars, Scanbro, and Pinolo, with, of course, your only driver not to set a time, Steve Ronaldo, and, of course, taking part no further is Chirolo 92. See you in a couple of minutes. It hasn't taken us long to get underway at all. We are about to go for the 5 red lights, and it's going Silverstone. And we are underway as Pavanir and the Pam. And oh my goodness me, lots of chaos in the background in the midfield. There's contact with Guitars. Oh goodness me, and the Racing Bulls, the sister teams, have collided right at the start. And Gianni is already down to 6th position from 3rd. Awful start for the Racing Bulls as the McLaren has made contact. And I think somebody's internet has gone all wrong. And, well, Kai has left the session for one reason or another. Somebody's internet has given up and has caused damage for the McLaren of Pinolo. That is rather unfortunate stuff, as Steve Ronaldo is already up to 7th place from what is from 9th position. How has he done that? Goodness me. Nice work there. Oh, and the McLaren and the Red Bull have made contact. Oh, goodness me. So this has all got all sorts of wrong for Guitars and Pinolo. They've made contact with one another as Gianni. And, well, oh my goodness me, more contact and cops. We saw what happened there last time. That was a Red Bull and a Mercedes, of course, way back when. But that was a Racing Bulls and a Mercedes. So kind of similar in a way. But now the Pam is on soft tyres. These are very interesting strategies that we're seeing play out here, as Chirolo has fixed any issues. So he's back with us. But then there's a Red Bull. There's all sorts of battling going on with Guitars and Pinolo here. This is... oh, I don't know what to make of this, to be honest with you, as they have both been making contact with one another throughout the opening lap. It looks like it's calmed down now as Guitars goes into the pit lane. Hopefully he can continue for his own sake, but we'll see what happens. At the moment, the Alpine of Pavanir is currently 0.6 of a second away, and honestly, he's going to be the one that is in better shape. He will be able to go longer, and if he goes onto the hard for the rest of the Grand Prix, those softs are just not going to go all the way. I can promise you that, as we already have a caution for Pinolo in Sector 1. He's spun round as Guitars is in his pit lane already. Ninja has also had a 3-second track limits penalty already on the opening lap. This is absolute chaos already, and we are seeing quite a chaotic start. And this is only the pre-season, remember. I wonder what the actual season is going to be like. But anyway, here we go. Pavanir will have a chance at DRS as long as he keeps under a second through here. And there you go. They've passed the detection point. They're going to come to the activation point. You see that white-green line there on your track. In fact, look at the signs there. There you go. Rear wing is now open. So Pavanir has a chance to take the lead of the race, but he's not quite close enough to do it through Stowe. And if anything, the PAM actually gained a little bit. So I wonder if the Alpine is still on the straights as we see the Ferrari go forward into 5th place, passing Scanbro. Ronaldo there, slam dunk, DRS. Then it's Stowe. You're not really going to try and come back through that high-speed corner. And now we are going to surely see the PAM with the fastest lap of the race. And that's surprising me a little bit. Well, I say it is surprising me a little bit, but of course the soft tyres will be in their working window at this early stage of the stint. But those medium tyres will come into their own later on towards, I would say about, I wouldn't say it will take very long. I think it's going to be about between lap 4 to 6 when the soft tyre begins to fall away and the medium tyre is able to gain the gap. In fact, you can kind of already see it through there. Lost 2/10 that PAM did as the Racing Bulls there trying to find a way through, trying to scare the Haas driver into some sort of mistake as they go through Brooklands. And then through Luffield, no dice there for the Racing Bulls driver. But Gianni had a bit of a chaotic start to the race as well. Remember, kind of fell away from 3rd place, but now is looking at taking back the last podium spot here from the Haas driver. But Gianni very wide through there. That is extremely wide. I don't think he would have lifted his foot off the accelerator pedal there, as Pavanir has got back with a DRS for the lead of the race, but won't be close enough to have a go as they go into Stowe. But Gianni with a massive mistake there and nearly colliding into the Ferrari there. A bit of an unsafe rejoin from the Racing Bulls there, as now Steve Ronaldo is just trailing with the DRS in tow. And now, couldn't make any move there for 3rd place as Pinolo has had another moment. That is just after Copse Corner. So let's see what's happened to the McLaren. It's definitely something there. But anyway, he's back underway. No intervention required from virtual race control. And we continue racing as we were. But look at that. The top 2 have checked out from the pack behind it. It's now 5.3 seconds. And those 2 are on immense pace. So they are really showing what they can do. And if more drivers are to be in attendance tonight, well, for the next week, for the official opener, as now we're going to see the leaders go side by side for the first time through Brooklands, but no move there from the Alpine. They are going to wait patiently, and I think it would be better off to try at the second DRS zone. But now there's been another move made as Kai, yes, because he's left the session from his own order, has just got past Chirolo. So there we go. Chirolo really not with the AI, even, it would seem, of the Mercedes. As now Gianni is being caught by the kick salber of Stee here. Pinolo, by the way, in the pits, so has evidently suffered some front wing damage and is looking to get that replaced. In fact, yeah, the pit stop has already been completed, but here we go. This is the one we've been waiting for. The battle for the lead is about to hot up. We're going to go through Stowe. The Williams to the inside, Alpine to the outside. Can the Alpine try for a cutback? Not quite. The Williams covers that off as Steve Ronaldo all the way from 11th. And now Gianni's going to try something maybe, but that was very late into the corner there. That was always going to be optimistic if that was to be pulled off. But the Racing Bulls just hold station for now as Chirolo gets back. So that must have been a little bit of a mistake by the Red Bull, and that's why the AI got past initially. There's been a pit stop as well, I believe, or Steve Ronaldo genuinely made a mistake. Yeah, he genuinely made a mistake. He's gone from 3rd after blazing through the field in 5 laps. He is now down in 7th place and 1.4 seconds off Scanbro, and also over 4 seconds away from the pack he was battling with. Goodness me, a roller coaster of an evening for the Ferrari driver. But now the leaders going side by side into Luffield, now through Brooklands into Luffield, beg your pardon, and now side by side again. The Williams to the outside, Alpine to the inside, and I think the Williams might have held it, but not quite. It's only half a tenth separating them as they go into this old start-finish straight, and the Alpine is ahead and slots in front of the Williams, as the Williams gets his first shot of dirty air and goes wide through Copse Corner there, and well, will have incurred a track limits warning from that, I would imagine, as Gianni now is trying to get 3rd place back. Had trouble with Steve Ronaldo, and then Steve Ronaldo had his moment at Club Corner last lap. And he's going to probably wait for the DRS zone, so we'll just cut back to the battle for third for the time being. Gianni is very close indeed, and there you go. We're going to see him go around the outside, down the hanger straight, gets the move done, and the Haas can't do anything there in response, as there you go. Steve Ronaldo as well, down the inside of the hanger straight, will now get that move done as well. And that is for 6th position. 3.5 seconds now separate him from the pack he was battling with. I think the Ferrari does indeed have enough pace to catch up to them, so we'll see how that all plays out, as Chirolo is in a very interesting battle with the Kai's AI there. The Pam making his first pit stop, and yeah, no, the soft tyres weren't going to really work beyond lap 6. He's already on medium tyres, so he's kind of out of sequence with Pavanir. If Pavanir has played this right, he could just go on to hards, do a one-stop, and go to the end, whereas the Pam will have to do another stop. Those mediums can't go to the end under any circumstance, even with 21 laps to go. That is not going to be possible, so he will definitely have to pit again. Those mediums will wear off quicker than he will be anticipating. At the moment, though, we are now watching a battle for what is essentially second place because of the Pam's pit stop, unless if that two-stop strategy does turn out to be the faster one. But remember, it is I think it's a 32 mile per hour speed limit here in Silverstone. So what that will essentially mean is that it's actually one of the slower pit lanes, so you don't actually want to spend any time on it. What you want to do is you actually just want to really take a one-stop. So really what Pavanir is doing, going with a one-stop from the medium to the hard tyres, because in your pit stop you do have to switch compounds. You go on the one-stop, go onto the hard tyre, and you just go to the end, and you're comfortable. You don't really need to worry about a second stop, and like honestly, you want to spend less time in the pit lane as possible. But a very early stop from the Kick Sauber of Stee here. I'm very surprised at how early these pit stops are coming in, and Chirolo is now finally getting away from the AI of the Mercedes behind of Kai, unless if Kai's just having extreme internet issues and is still with us. I've not seen that before. I'll tell you that for free. I just wonder if the connection is that unreliable. He's being ghosted, or he has genuinely left the session. I've not seen... I know that I think he left the session earlier on due to the internet issues, but other than that, I haven't seen anything that says he's back. So I think that is the battling of the AI, but I will double check that towards the end of the race. And whoa, what's the Red Bull doing? Goodness me, Chirolo, that gap was never opening, and now he tries the inside, going into Brooklands. Goodness me, the Red Bull taking more risks as the Mercedes is still there, like in BTCC back in 1992. A dramatic set of events through Brooklands and Luffield. And that nearly ended in tears for both, but contact between the Mercedes and the Red Bull don't do what happened in Cops in 2021. That does not indeed repeat, and that is a wide moment for the Mercedes. But goodness me, heart-in-mouth moment for both teams there, as that looked like it was going to be a flashback to the British Touring Car Championship of 1992. Of course, if you don't know the clip I'm talking about, look up Murray Walker, Silverstone, and BTCC. What a moment that was indeed. And there, I think Kai is in control of that car, because that car control doesn't look AI to me, although I could be wrong. But either way, it's causing me to question my own sanity a little bit. But anyway, here we go. Scan into the pits, sets the pit limiter. He's on soft tyres. He took those to lap 8. He could actually go on the hard tyres and go to the end somewhat comfortably, but it is going to be a bit nip and tuck with the tyre life and the cliff they fall down. And now, well, this battle for second now just goes down to Steve, Ronaldo, and Gianni here. So Gianni now up a position, as the Pam also benefits from some pit stops there. But of course, remember, the Pam pitted from the softs to the medium tyres. Now, just to kind of double check what Scanbro was up to, he's got onto the medium tyres, so I'm sorry mate, you're gonna have to stop again, as a brief yellow flag is out in sector 2 through Cops, which of course these two drivers are watching now right now, as Pinolo gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. He is down in 12th as of right now. He is battling with, well, trying to battle with Guitars there, 21 seconds behind, and well, needs to make another pit stop himself. He's on soft tyres. So let's see what happens there as Steve Ronaldo now goes through to the DRS activation point, and he was underneath a second as they came to the detection point. Down the hanger straight they go and up into Stowe. No, Steve Ronaldo's not going to be close enough there to have a go. But of course, now we have the PAM making his way up the field. Not close enough to open DRS, so it wasn't quite within a second going into the detection point. So he'll just have to go in behind as Gianni now into the pits. So that means the PAM will benefit from an extra position. And I'm very surprised. Does Gianni go for an extra stop? Let's find out as Gianni now is going to be onto hard tyres. Yes, that is the way to go. That's what I expected from Scanbro, but has got onto a second set of mediums, so they will have to stop again here. They won't quite go to the end. I wonder if they want to go onto soft tyres towards the end of the race, but I think they might be a bit surprised when they don't quite have the pace there. The PAM now is now going to be within DRS as we go to the, let's see, the Wellington Straight, beg your pardon, and now down the inside into Brooklands. That is third place for the PAM. Very easily done and very nicely done from the Williams driver. They is now just over 20 seconds away from the leader of Tavernier, who is yet to make their stop. So we are still waiting for the Alpine driver, beg your pardon, to make their stop, as Chirolo actually putting in a good race despite having issues in qualifying. I think that was with his internet. Those hard tyres have come good for the Red Bull driver, and he is now just over 11 seconds away as Ninja gets a second, is it? Yeah, a second 3-second track limits penalty there. So 6 seconds is going to be added onto his post-race time, and then after that, Scanbro then gets his first, and now the field are a bit separated out. So now we are playing a game of chess. We are just waiting for Tavernier and Steve Ronaldo to make their first pit stops of the race, and hopefully, for their sakes, they only won. And, well, we'll just wait and see, because some battles are developing as we have a yellow flag again for Pinolo, who's got it wrong through Sector 1. That is that village right there. Cuts the grass for good measure. Pinolo gets back underway eventually, but I don't think with the consistency he's showing, he's going to be catching up to the back of Gatos anytime soon. I think those soft tyres have about fallen off. Yeah, they, like I said before, they don't last very long. Pinolo is definitely struggling, and he's already been lapped as well. It's lap 10, and he's made another mistake through Brooklands there. So Pinolo really struggling with the tyre wear on this game, if anything. Now, Gianni did just make their pit stop. They've got onto hard tyres, as we expected. Now, they will be at a bit of a disadvantage in this early part of the stint, because obviously the hard tyre being the harder compound compared to the medium. But as soon as a few laps begin to wear away, the hard tyres will start to sort of overlap with the medium tyres. They'll be on similar pace, and then eventually the hard tyres should be the better tyre to be on. And at this point of the Grand Prix, I think the hard tyres are the better one to be on. And, of course, Chirolo is the only one who is kind of outside of the rule here, because Chirolo has started on hard tyres, and he is trying to go as long as he can so that he can be on softer tyres towards the end. And I really do hope it, well, for his sake, if anything, then it pays off. He would be coming out behind. I think he'd just come out behind. Yeah, he'd come out behind Gianni. And he would be on medium tyres, I would expect. I don't think he'd go to the end, as Pinolo has got into the pits to retire from proceedings. I'm not too surprised at that, to be honest with you, as he now leaves the session. So what was 12 now becomes 11. I'm still I don't think Kai is in control of that car. I think he did leave earlier on. So technically we only have 10 in the running as of right now, as Steve Ronaldo has indeed made his pit stop. The Ferrari driver now just coming out of the pit exit should be ahead of Scanbro rather easily. In fact, he is only just going through club right now, and so Ronaldo will be off to village there on hard tyres, as I expected. So there we go. So Gianni and Ronaldo clearly on the same wavelength as Tavernier. Tavernier any moment now should be making his first pit stop, and Chirolo will take the lead in the race, but still he did deserve a pit stop under his hard tyres. So Scanbro has retired and left the session, and what's happened to him? There's a DNF there. I haven't seen what's happening, and I think what? Goodness me. I think there was something. Yeah, like Ninja's missing a piece of his front wing end plate. Scanbro's just had enough. Yeah, he's gone. That's it. So what has become 12 has become 9, technically, because Kai is definitely not in control of the car. Chirolo now has DRS on SD, but now there's Gianni and Marito right behind him. So 2 cars already on the charge, and Chirolo is really leaving this as late as he possibly can. I don't blame him. If the times aren't that bad, then you may as well just stay out until you really need to. And he can, the longer he leaves this, the better he will be. But of course, what about the other cars around you that have already pitted? You might be at a point now where you're starting to lose time, and you may have to pit in 1 or 2 laps. You might not have any choice in the matter. No safety car required for Scanbro's non-finish. So we'll just wait and see. But at the moment now, we're on lap 12 out of 26. And we are honestly, let's see, I'm just trying to think. Everybody has made their stop now, of course, barring Chirolo. But now Chirolo is going to be vulnerable to the racing balls of Gianni behind. That's down the inside, going into Brooklands. Gets the move done, and there we go. Gianni starting to reclaim positions. And of course, thanks to Steve's 3-second penalty, Gianni doesn't really need to make that move, and he can just set behind him for the rest of the race. And, well, it's been a very good showing from the Racing Bulls driver, playing the strategy not so badly, only down 1 position, but of course, as long as he stays within the 3-second window for the Kick Sauber ahead, then that should all be good. Mayans and Beckett's go this pack as, oh goodness me, Stee there with a trial of its violation there, and that was a huge mistake. And Stee there, what is going on with the internet here of the Kick Sauber? That could have been a massive crash, and that, well, is all but avoided as Pavanir takes the fastest lap of the race. So Pavanir left it late for pits, but now is starting to really put the hammer down. He's at 4.6 seconds to the PAM. As now this pack begin. Oh, goodness me, and there's some spin in the background. Chirolo gets a 10-second penalty for a severe collision with Marito. Marito now has got no front wing. I wonder what happened there. Goodness me. How on earth? Explosive action coming from TF1eSports. And this is only the pre-season race. Goodness me, the admins and stewards will have some talking to do once this race has wrapped up. But now focusing on the leading battle, it is now down to 3.4 seconds. So those fresh hard tyres are already working better than the mediums of the PAM ahead. And of course, remember, the PAM on a second set of mediums is gonna have to try and go, well, he's going to have to go for a second pit stop. He's got no choice. Those mediums can't go to the end. I'm surprised he started on the soft tyre. I wonder if he saw somewhere that the medium tyre would be faster. But of course, that's completely negated once you actually... And there we go. Second pit stop for the Williams. And we'll see what he goes out onto. Of course, this is important for his race. He won't be ahead of Gianni, as Gianni has now made an overtake on the Kick Sauber. So doesn't wait for that to be decided off track. He will decide that on track. Right now, the PAM is into the pit lane. What side does he go out onto? The hards? That is a call. That is a call at this point in the race. I would have just gone on for another couple of laps on those mediums and then just taken another set of mediums. You don't really need to be switching compounds, but the PAM, not agreeing with my hypothesis, is going to go against the grain and go on to hards. So now he's at a real pace disadvantage towards the end of the Grand Prix, and 3 laps difference between hard compounds. That's not going to be enough to take the win of the race. So I think PAM has maybe just given up on taking the win here tonight. And of course, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Maybe some drivers treating this like a practice session for when we do come back here for round 4, which will, of course, be in about a month's time from right now. So, of course, a month and a week's time from right now. So, of course, that'll be round 4. But, of course, point-scoring races get underway from next week, which, of course, begin in Spa-Francorchamps here. Steve Ronaldo has been one of my standouts so far and is looking like he could be on to take a podium, maybe even second place if he could get lucky. He didn't have the best qualifying session, not even setting a valid time, but has made his way up the field, has taken advantage of the chaos around him, and currently finds himself on the brink of a podium. And what a result this would be for the Tifosi fans, and of course a mostly Italian league here in TF1 eSports. This will be very nice to see. So Steve Ronaldo, having a moment there through Club, and now through the final corner onto the Hamilton Straight, of course named after the 7-time world champion, and now going through Abbey. Is currently 8 tenths away from the Kick-Sauber in front, so the DRS detection point is just through here, and then the activation point will be just after the exit of Aintree, which of course, Aintree, named after the location of the 1962 British Grand Prix. I do believe Jim Clark took that win way back when, but let's have a look at current affairs right now. DRS open for Ronaldo, looks to the inside to scare the Kick-Sauber, and gains quite a bit of ground through Brooklands and now through Luffield. Can he carry any momentum to maybe get the move done before going through Meggets and Beckett's? And yeah, look at the Ferrari getting a better exit, and the Kick-Sauber has to go to the inside to defend this. Are Kick-Sauber and Ferrari going to go side by side through Copse? No, and the Kick-Sauber just lets him have that. Knew that the fight was pretty much all done and dusted, and Steve there goes very wide through Copse, and well, will live to fight another day. Now, Pam has got a bit of work to do. Pam will probably get through Steve rather easily on fresh set of hard tyres, but it's then going to be Steve Ronaldo and Gianni, which will be a problem for the Williams driver. And there you go, that's them at the back of your frame there. With 10 laps to go at the line, they've certainly left this late, but I think they will make it great and just make it, but it will be very, very fine, and it will depend on the pace Steve Ronaldo has once they find a way past the Racing Bulls driver. How can the Ferrari manage this one? It's overtaken the Kick-Sauber last lap, and now going to be overtaking the Racing Bulls this lap. And I do apologise, the leaders crossed the line to start lap 16 out of 26, so actually 11 to go for this pack. Marito gets a 3-second penalty, and Chirolo into the pits again and hasn't served their mandatory stop, so that's why they're pitting in at this late stage. But at 13 seconds back and a 10-second penalty to boot as well, their kind of advantage that they tried to create has been rather eliminated, unfortunately. So not really going to be much of a result here for the Red Bull driver, and neither for the other one. Gatos there having an awful start to the race there. Lap 1 involved in all sorts of contact, and Panolo as well. It was a rather chaotic day. It's been a rather chaotic evening, even in TF1 eSports, as now Chirolo even gets overtaken by the Haas driver, who has a 3-second penalty to their name. Matters very little as of right now. But at the moment, we are looking at second place battle between the Ferrari and the Racing Bulls driver. I'm sure we're going to see DRS open. The Ferrari now should really be setting up for a move through Stowe, but not close enough to do so, and got out of the slipstream there. And I do believe that is on purpose, because if your engine does simulate, oh no, a 3-second penalty for the Ferrari driver. So now the Pam's life has just been made that little bit easier. And well, once they get past Steve and potentially past Gianni as well, all they need to do is be within the window of the 3 seconds for Ronaldo. And then, well, that's kind of all they have. Well, that's all they have to do. And then they've got second place. But Ronaldo now needs to really put the hammer down, considering the Pam has got fresher tyres in comparison. There is a 3-lap difference between Ronaldo and Pam, but of course the pace difference is probably what's going to matter more at this late stage of the Grand Prix. 10 laps to go now for these drivers. It'll be 9 to go at the line, as Kai there into the pits, as is Ninja. But of course Kai, I don't believe, is being controlled by the driver that was assigned to the car this evening. I do believe they left due to internet issues, so unfortunate for them. So technically we only have 9 human players currently driving around the iconic Silverstone track as of right now. The Ferrari of Ronaldo going a little bit wide there due to the dirty air coming from the Racing Bulls car, as now the Pam has got right up to the back of the Kick-Sauber. Can they make any move through here just to try and get them into some free air? No, not quite, but Steve Ronaldo now surely going to make the move. In fact, we can look at the battle between the Williams and the Kick-Sauber in the background, because the Ferrari are unable to make any sort of moves, as now the Pam gets the move done for 4th place. But now they are surely, I don't believe Gianni is going to make the life easy for the Ferrari. Bit of debris gets kicked up there, as now Steve is off into the... Interesting. I didn't expect to see another pit stop from the Kick-Sauber, so maybe the 2-stop is the way to go. But Pavanir has got a 20-second lead to the driver behind of Gianni there. I don't think Pavanir is going to need to pit again. He's only on 7-lap hard, and I'm surprised we're seeing another pit stop from SD here. SD11B. I don't know. I don't even know why we are, because I thought the hard should have been good to go to the end there, but maybe the tyre wear being a lot more serious than we initially first thought. And speaking of Pam needing to be in within the 3-second window, they've already gone and done it. It's kind of a done deal. So now, really, Ronaldo is fighting with Gianni for third place and needs a 3-second buffer. Once he gets past it, are we going to see something through Copse Corner? That was very close to contact between the two drivers, but nothing to boot there. But there you go, the Ferrari should have the better run, but can he go anywhere with it, considering the tight corners we are approaching? Nope, nowhere to go at all. So it'll be through the DRS zone once we go through Church Curb there. And, well, riding the sausage was the Ferrari. You saw that Ferrari just take the energy of the bump there. DRS open. And, yeah, no, not close enough again. The Racing Bulls doing just enough to keep the Ferrari behind, and now 21 seconds to the lead, and this really only benefits Tavernier more than anything. And now 8 laps to go once these drivers get to the line, and time running out for Steve Ronaldo here. He really needs to get an overtake done within, I would say, the next couple of laps, or else he will be in all sorts of trouble. But what a drive this has been from Tavernier, the only one to really execute the strategy correctly. Although you do give props to the Pam, has also made this strategy work rather brilliantly thanks to their pace through an overall lap. From lap to lap, beg your pardon, so their consistency has been second to none. But now the Pam will surely begin to make moves. The Ferrari shouldn't fight the Williams too hard. That's not where their battle is. As a Ferrari, well, actually, great driver awareness there from the Williams. As, well, the Ferrari did try and scare the Racing Bulls into a mistake through Brooklands. And now through Lovefield, they are going to try again. And now with the slipstream, well, down the old start-finish straight, who has got the better momentum? I think we might see the Williams try and move through Copse, but no, not quite close enough to do so. And sensibly just decides to sit behind the two drivers for now. Doesn't really need to get involved in this. Ferrari might just get desperate and make a mistake on his own accord. Of course, for his sake, he will be hoping not to do that, but he's going to be eyeing up how to overtake us. Oh, there's a spin! Oh, my goodness me! The Pam and Steve Ronaldo have made contact with one another after Steve Ronaldo made a mistake, and the Pam is relegated. Oh my goodness me! Steve Ronaldo losing control through Church Curve, and then making contact with the Williams, and one of the faster drivers on the field, a front left end plate, has gone missing from the car. So that hopefully they can carry that to the end for their own sakes, but that will make the Williams driver bitterly angry. They will be seething in the cockpit, and I imagine some words are going to be said between the Ferrari and the Williams when they get to the cool-down room towards the end of this. At the moment, the Pam now has an 8.6 second gap to Gianni in front. But now with that damaged front wing, that is going to be incredibly difficult to try and bring that down. And with so little time to go, 7 laps, I just don't see that happening. And I feel for the Williams driver, the Pam there, through no fault of their own, involved in a collision. And that is just rotten luck there. The Pam really got the strategy wrong as well. I'm afraid did not match Tavernier. So Tavernier is going to a comfortable victory here. They'll have 6 laps to go at the line, and it's been a very lonely race for the Alpine driver once they actually got past the Williams there. Of course, the Williams deciding to start out on the soft compound of tyres, which you very rarely see happen. And yeah, no, as I expected, the Pam is not even close to catching here. They have lost a full second there, and even Steve Ronaldo is starting to catch back up, and we may see fireworks again between these two. A 10-second penalty for Gatos for speeding in the pit lane. What is going to happen here is a Red Bull going slowly. That is Tirolo having a bit of a moment on the Wellington straight. Are they having internet issues? They are going very slowly. They can't have run out of fuel, can they? He's run out of fuel. He's going... Oh, no. They're back underway, are they? Oh, I think they're trying to get out of the way for the blue flag. I think that's what they're doing. Sorry about that. Yeah, they're getting out of the way for Tavernier in the blue flag, but pick your moment is all I can say, and they are going very slowly. I think the car's run out of fuel. And they've miscalculated it, because that's the only reason it would be going that slowly. This is chaos. This is absolute chaos. I think the Red Bull's back up to speed. Okay, I think the Red Bull is back up to speed now. So, there we go. So, there you go. Tirolo back up to speed now. I think that was just honestly to let the drivers out the way for the blue flag. And actually, a pit stop coming for the Red Bull. So, I can't see anything wrong with the tyres. But they have gone very slowly into the pit lane. And they are on 4-lap old mediums. Let's just check the rear view of the car. And yeah, there's no punctures there. So I wonder if that's more of a mechanical failure then. That is certainly interesting. As there you go, soft tyres for the Red Bull. And they're going to try and take fastest lap of the race, I would imagine. But look at this. Steve Ronaldo and the Pam are starting to really close up to one another again. And this could spark fireworks for the between the Ferrari and the Williams. They have already made contact a couple of laps ago, going through Church Curve on lap 20. And well, there's going to be more fighting between them as they go. The Red Bull going very slowly just to allow these two through. And well, that's very, very sensible from the Red Bull of Tirolo there. So nice racecraft from him. But now 1.6 seconds, and this is the one where everybody's going to be looking at, because although Steve Ronaldo has a 3-second penalty for track limit violations with 5 laps to go, he's got that gap down to 1.3 seconds. And, well, we could see more fighting between the two, and this could be popcorn. Oh, no, denied. We have had a mistake from Steve Ronaldo, and that somewhat ends the battle that we were looking forward to. Just a bit desperate on the accelerator going through what is that called? Sorry, that is Luffield there. So just a bit desperate on the right foot going through Luffield, and Steve Ronaldo just half spins the car into the old pit lane entry, and that very much ends that battle. As Gatos there still going rather slowly. It's just been, well, it's just sorry, no, it's Tirolo that's going slowly, and Gatos got the 3-second track limits penalty. So Tirolo not even keeping up on soft tyres. That is pretty surprising, if I say so myself. But now the Pab got nobody to worry about, as 9.5 seconds to the car ahead, but 7.4 seconds to the car behind, which I think is the one they'll be more worried about. So the Pab, all they have to do is just keep it between the white lines, and that's the end of it. But Tavernier has set his intentions early, and now will be ready to take the checkered flag, and nothing really can stop that. They can even take 3 track limit penalties, and it would do nothing. 29 seconds, of course, 3 seconds per track limit penalty. So it really has been their race to lose, and really there are no other battles happening outside on track, unless you count Tirolo and the Red Bulls. But Tirolo seems to be going through some sort of issue. Going through Brooklands now. Well, this is now the closest battle on track. Both are on soft tyres and are trying to maybe give us something to look at there. But of course, remember, a 16-second penalty for Guitars towards the end of this race, so it matters very little. I think these two are just going to be having some fun, but maybe they'll give us something to talk about as they go through Cop's Corner. And it looks like Tirolo actually does have the pace. So I wonder if that's why he was slowing down, because I wonder if the two Red Bull teammates in this, well, I say it's a non-serious pre-season race, but at the same time, you do kind of get a grip for where everyone is at. As DRS now does open. These two, I think, will begin lap 24 out of 26 indeed. Yeah, because the Alpine is already at Brooklands there, and 31 seconds ahead of Gianni. This brings me back to, I think, the 2014 season, where it wouldn't be too surprising to see Lewis Hamilton or Nico Rosberg several seconds ahead of the pack. And, well, we're certainly getting those vibes again here from this race. Tavernier, definitely the one above the rest at this early point. But of course, the Pam also has the pace with Tavernier, but it's just the strategy has just let them down rather unfortunately, and that's what's dropped them back from what, if we are to believe what is on the tower of national flags. He is South Korean, but I am just going to take that with a pinch of salt. DRS open again for Tirolo, but not able to make a move past his teammate. Not that it really matters, to be honest with you. Of course, Gatos with a massive penalty to serve post-race. Well, they'll be just counting down the laps at this point. Lap 25 out of 26 has already begun. The Alpine on their penultimate lap. Well, it's definitely a championship contention. Pavanir played the strategy right, has kept it between the white lines. No post-race penalties, as well as congratulations to the PAM, Gianni and Pavanir, of course. Chirolo as well, no mean feat as well. As long as you keep it between the white lines, you stand yourself a chance at a result. He will finish ahead of his teammate, regardless of what happens, unless if he crashes it, as A.S.D in the background goes very wide through Church Curve. As there we go, the Red Bulls do indeed swap positions. So Chirolo now through and through to Stowe. That ill position is all but confirmed, but I do wonder if these two have been lapped as well. So their final laps may be beginning in a couple of moments' time. But Pavanir now going through Copse Corner, and what a race it has been. Started in second. Well, I think he was in second place. Let me just have a quick check. No, he was in pole position, but then got pipped by the PAM at the start. But then ever since then, Pavanir brought the pain to the Williams driver, and then has really not looked back since. And the Williams, having no response at all, had to pit him very early, and then of course had that collision with Steve Ronaldo. And Steve Ronaldo is actually still catching the Williams, has brought that gap down from 7.5 seconds to 4.2. But of course, the last laps will begin on the next time around. So Pavanir goes through Club Corner for the penultimate time. And now, down to the start for the straight, we begin lap 26 out of 26 with the Alpine. And, well, it has certainly been a Grand Prix that will be talked about within the stewarding and admin team as one with not really acceptable driving standards. There is going to be a heavy discussion going into the first official race next week on how that will all be sorted out. And, well, there's a lot of work to do. And, of course, some drivers backing out at the last minute. But we've still had quite a decent show regardless. And, well, through Brooklands and Luffield, the Alpine driver has been simply one above the rest as the PAM goes into the pits and now will lose the podium position. So the PAM... Isn't it just better to just... Go on the hard tires for the final lap? Oh well, I'm not the driver, so I'm not going to try and comment on that too much. And now he's going to lose more positions thanks to that, replacing the front wing as well. And yeah, on soft tires, but of course because they pitted on the final lap, their fastest lap, that fastest lap won't be recorded. But anyway, it matters very little to Pavanir, who is now coming across Stowe for the last time here in Silverstone, and now. We'll be looking at Club Corner. Of course, we'll be back here in 4 races' time. But for the time being, the master of Silverstone goes to the supposed South Korean driver through Club one more time. And he wins in Silverstone. What a drive from Pavanir as Ninja and the PAM are doing battle on the final lap. And I wonder what's going to happen here. Hopefully no more contact between him and a Racing Bulls driver. Well, between him and a Ferrari driver. But let's see what happens, as Ninja is probably going to try his best to hold on to that. But of course, thanks to his post-race penalty, it will matter very little. The PAM there, giving the car a glorious amount of room there. Well, sympathetic amount of room. And there we go. Finds his way around the outside. And those fresher tyres were never going to be any competition at all. Now through Club Corners, Pavanir has gone. Pavanir has gone because he's actually crossed the start-finish line. Never mind. Gianni is now in second place, and a 3-second penalty now added on for Marito. Steve Ronaldo will come across the line through Club eventually. Yep, very slowly, but he gets across the line, and then Steve will be next in 4th, and then 5th place will be the Haas driver. As there we go, the Williams there. I don't think it's really going to be able to catch up, but at least through post-race penalties, Pam will have 5th place. There you go. So there, yeah, so Marito will go down to 6th, maybe 7th, although I think Ninja does have more in post-race penalties. Let's find out. And, well, we've crossed the start-finish line. What is the final finishing place? It is actually 6th for Marito. Okay, no problem at all. So Ninja did have more time in, well, sorry, had less time in hand. Marito had less time in hand to Ninja. There we go. So there you go. Pavanir starts the podium celebrations. Of course, the supposed South Korea driver is currently celebrating on the top step. What a win from the Alpine driver, and he will celebrate that into the night. But that gives a feeler of who will be on top in the season. And I think the Alpine will be the one to beat the Champagne Sprays. And we'll be back here for round 4 of season 1 of the TF1 eSports. And there you go. Here are your accolades. Race winner, of course, we all know who that goes to, as well as fastest lap. Driver of the day goes to Steve Ronaldo. Most overtakes to Chirolo and Gianni with your cleanest driver. So, Pavanir, Gianni, and Steve Ronaldo are your top 3 there. They take the podium positions, with 4th and 5th done by Steve and Pam, with Marito, Ninja, Kai, Chirolo, and Guitars rounding out your top 10, and your only non-finishers are Scanbro even, and Pinolo. But of course, Kai not even controlled by his human player due to internet issues, and so they will leave it at that. So that is all said and done for the preseason. So a lot of talk going to be around driving standards now that everything is complete. But of course, just a reminder, the point scoring will be underway from next week. We are off to Spa-Francorchamps for the first official race here in TF1. Then, of course, off to Bahrain, then Canada, followed by a return to Silverstone in round 4, and then round 5 will be in Shanghai, with the rest of the races coming from the Sail, Red Bull Ring, Mexico, Barcelona, and last and at the least, Yas Marina, which of course in Abu Dhabi. Well, I have been your commentator. My name has been David, and I've brought you the action from TF1 eSports in their preseason race. All I want to say to you is, from wherever you may be in the world, I wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. And from the admins, the stewards, and the drivers, we all thank you for watching as well. Stay safe, stay alive. We will see you next week in Spa. Goodbye for now.